season last year, and if you can win some games this weekend, yeah, you have a heck of a chance to have the best record and play more home games. Now, Joe did a real good job in this game a couple weeks ago against the Washington Nationals here in this ballpark. He had 6 scoreless innings. He walked 4. He struck out 7. And they had a few base running snafus to the Nationals. Here's one of them right here, wandering off third base. Good play there by Carlos Ruiz. And then the runner going on this play, Jason Worth with a catch, and he sees he's got a free shot at first base to get a double play on that one. And Worth with some congratulations from Joe Blanton. You know, some guys will say they aren't that comfortable pitching in this ballpark. He certainly is not one of them. He has real good numbers here. A 7-3 record in 15 starts. Everything else is pretty good, too. Coming off kind of a shaky outing in his last start in Milwaukee, even though he won that ball game. But overall, he has pitched very well in the second half.
Yeah, he has pitched extremely well in the second half. And he said the other day, I'm a second-half pitcher. I loosen up by the time the All-Star break comes. So the Phils and the Marlins get together for Game 1 of 3. It'll be Joe Blanton on the hill, and he'll be opposed by right-hander Rick Vandenherk for the Marlins. Well, with some of the outfielders getting some time off until the postseason, Ben Francisco gets a chance to play once again. He had a good night last night. We'll get to the lineups when we return. Phillies baseball is brought to you by your local Toyota dealers, where Toyota quality can actually save you money. Toyota's a smart way to keep moving forward. By Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines is ready when you are. Go to southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on. By Citizens Bank, with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. And by Independence Blue Cross. We're here. He's going to be a big piece to the Phillies puzzle come postseason time, because he's been so effective in the second half. And again, whoever the Phillies use for their rotation will depend partly on the matchup of who the first round opponent is going to be, and that is still up in the air going into the final weekend of the regular season. And this crowd settling in for tonight's ball game. It is another sellout here at Citizens Bank Park, and it's turned out to be a very comfortable night. It's not too cool compared to last night. In fact, it's warmed up nicely, and Charlie Manuel over the last couple of days has decided to give some players some time off and also get some guys that he thinks need some at-bats into the lineup. And Freddie Gonzalez is basically doing the same with the Florida Marlins. The Marlins commit to tonight's ball game 85-74. And they are in third place in the National League East. And Freddie Gonzalez was saying the other day that he'd like to see his team win as many games as possible, obviously. But he said, why not? Let's finish in second place in the division if we can. And that's why they have this this 3-game series labeled as important against the Phillies. And this is the upcoming National League Divisional Playoff schedule. Game 1 will be Wednesday, October 7th. Game 2 will be Thursday. An off day on Friday. And then Game 3 on Saturday. And then the if necessary games are Game 4 on Sunday and Game 5 next Tuesday. The team with the better record will host games 1 and 2 and the potential Game 5 clincher. And the team that is the lower seed will host games 3 and 4. Let's take a look at the Florida Marlins lineup for tonight. Leading it off in left field is Chris Coghlan. Cameron Maybin, the center fielder, bats second. Nick Johnson's at first base, hitting third, followed by Jorge Cantu, the cleanup batter. John Baker bats fifth. Dan Uggla, the second baseman, hits sixth. Brett Carroll's in right field batting seventh. Emilio Bonifacio, the shortstop, bats eighth. And batting ninth at pitching is right-hander Rick Vandenherd. Then they will face right-hander Joe Blanton, who's had a solid year for the Phillies. 31st start, 12-7, and his ERA is under 4, Wheels.
Well, he's done a good job for them, Tom. And, as we talked about in the opening, Joe's a second-half pitcher, and he's done very well in the second half. A little bit of a shaky outing. He said he thought he left his slider and curveball in Florida in the game that he had pitched before that, because he really was all over the place on Sunday. Had a lot of problem throwing strikes, had a lot of pitches that were close, not called strikes, so did not have a good outing. Here's our Southwest Airlines scouting report on the struggle with that command in Milwaukee, because to be successful, this guy really must locate his pitches, because he does not have an overpowering type fastball. When he locates it, he can really get hitters out with his off-speed stuff. It's time now for our Key State Chrysler Jeep keys to tonight's game. As Tom mentioned, it's nice here tonight. Very pleasant. And, well, there's still work to be done. We've gone over and over that, so it's time to focus. Joe Blanton pitching for a postseason spot, as Tom mentioned. On the roster, you figure that, but what is his role going to be? Well, he could be a starter, he could be a guy out of the pen. We'll see.
Well, here we go. Game 1 of 3 between the Phillies and the Marlins. A couple weeks ago, everybody had this series targeted as one that could be extremely important in the race for the National League East title. Well, the Marlins helped the Phillies kind of take care of that earlier this week when they took 2 of 3 from the Atlanta Braves. So Chris Coghlan leads things off. He's had a good rookie season. And the first pitch is taken down low, and it's 1-0.
Has he ever? What a month he's had.
Let's see what he's hitting since the All-Star break. He has the most hits of anybody in the National League since the 1st of August.
This guy has to get a lot of Rookie of the Year votes. Jay Happ will. Chris Coghlan, about all the position players, is a guy just lighting it up, and Jay has had a tremendous rookie season.
1 ball, 1 strike, the count to Coghlan, who, as you saw, hitting .318 overall with 9 homers and 44 runs batted in. And you see Coghlan has the highest batting average among rookies, but he's also in the top 10 overall in the big leagues. That's why I think that Coghlan and Happ are so similar, because Jay is in the top 10 in ERA among rookies.
And he uses the whole field, this guy. We've seen him hit a lot of balls up the middle. They're playing him to pull in the outfield, but still trying to take the alleys away from him. See, slightly to pull is Shane Victorino in center field.
And that one just missed, and Coghlan draws the leadoff walk here in the top of the first.
There's another reason why this guy is so good, because he walks.
Well, the first walk issued by Joe. Coghlan has stolen 7 bases this year. He's been caught 4 times. Cameron Maybin's been hitting the ball pretty well lately. Overall, he's hitting .241 with 4 homers and 12 RBIs. Maybin, though, in his last 5 games is hitting over .400. And during that span, he's got a couple home runs and 5 runs batted in.
Hit a big home run, at least for the Phillies, the other night to right center field at Turner Field, and an opposite field home run. That's a long way. You hit one to right center and you're a right-handed hitter, you have crushed it.
Throw over to first, and Coghlan is back diving.
Maybin's one of those guys they're trying to figure out. They obviously want him to fit into their future because he's such a great athlete. He hasn't done a whole lot against the Phillies in his brief major league career, but he has tremendous tools, and he's just learning how to be a baseball player.
He had .319 down in AAA this year after struggling in the early part of the season with the Fish. He hit just .202 in his first 26 games. As Bo Porter lays down the signs for the Marlins. One ball, 1 strike to count. And that one's pulled toward the hole and into left field. A base hit for Maybin. And the Marlins have the first 2 batters aboard.
There's another mistake with an off-speed pitch. Same thing that was happening to him on Sunday. It's a breaking ball, just kind of spun in the middle of the plate. This is why, if anybody is honest around the Phillies, You did not want to play these guys if it meant something this weekend. If they came in loosey-goosey, because they're a good team. I think what they did to the Mets the last couple of years at the end of the season, they hurt them bad.
Well, the other thing too is that we said they won 2 of 3 against the Braves earlier this week, and that helped dampen the Braves' cause.
Right. This is the type of team you don't want to play late in the year when it means something.
Nick Johnson, the batter, he takes a fastball for a strike.
And that we haven't even talked about how good their starting pitching is, and their bullpen's decent too.
There's Dan Uggla. Uggla, 30 home run season once again.
And they don't know whether he's going to be here next year.
0-2 the count to Nick Johnson, who is 0 for his last 19. He comes into this ball game hitting .289 with 8 homers and 61 runs batted in.
And Nick's such a good hitter, and he hits it everywhere. Playing him straight away in the defense, that it's hard to believe he'd go 0 for 19.
Slow chopper right side. Chase charging, and his only play is to first. May have had a chance to get Maben at second base, but the angle probably wasn't there, so 1 away.
Yeah, a little bit surprised that he didn't go there, but you said, Tom, maybe he didn't like his angle. But Maben had to stop basically to let that ball go by. And by the time he could get his momentum going, he was a good distance from second base. See right there, he has to stop. Now, he takes a quick peek. Maben's trying to do everything he can to get in the way of a potential throw. You see, he was deciding which way to go. That takes a double play away and also puts another runner in scoring position.
So 1 out. Jorge Cantu, the batter. He's the cleanup hitter for the Marlins, and he shoots one right up the middle for a base hit. One's going to score. Maben's going to score. So right out of the chute, the Marlins have taken a 2-0 lead here at the top of the first. And for Jorge Cantu, his 2 RBIs on that base hit give him 98 now for the season. So that's now 9 RBIs in the last 8 ball games for Cameron Maben.
Here's Cantu. He had a breaking ball right back through the middle. That was maybe a slider, a little harder breaking ball.
So the double play is in order with 1 away. And John Baker is the batter. Baker hitting .272 with 9 home runs this season. And you see what he's done against Joe, hitting just .182 against him. Good pitch. Went upstairs with a fastball, and it's 1-2. Talk about Blanton being a stronger second half pitcher over his last 15 starts, which is basically since the midway point to his season. He has 8 wins, but his ERA is under 3. It's a 2.95. He misses with that one. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Seeing his 74 career games after the All-Star break, an ERA of 3.94. And most of those games are in the American League, so that ERA is pretty good considering. Towards second base. Chase has got it to his left. The runner was going, so his only play is to first. And that is the second out here in the first inning. So 2 away. Cantu's on second, and that'll bring Dan Uggla to the plate. Uggla with 31 home runs and 87 runs batted in. He's enjoyed his games, his power numbers against the Phillies with 14 homers and 40 RBIs. And he starts him off with a fastball a little low. 1 ball and no strikes. He's climbing the charts. Just 1 home run from Gary Sheffield, who was 4th all time. 8 from Derek Lee. And that's the all-time Marlins list. 2-0.
Marlins are still at that point where they're just not going to have a big payroll. So that's why we mentioned that conceivably Uggla could be gone next year. Some other players too. They would have to. Coughlin started out as an infielder. There's some talk about maybe moving him in, but they may not want to do that because he's so comfortable in left field now, and his offense is so good.
There's Hanley Ramirez. Now they've tied him up, so he's with them into their new ballpark. So that's a good sign for the Marlins. But whether they're able to expand that payroll to handle guys like Dan Uggla, well, that remains to be seen. On the outside corner, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And Hanley Ramirez is not only a great player for the Marlins, he's one of the best players in baseball when he wants to be, and he's had an unbelievable year. That guy right there, well, he should be an MVP someday. That's how good he is.
He is the league's leading hitter, but he's 1 for his last 18. So he's off tonight. And the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. That's a good year. 105 runs batted in, 24 home runs.
He's been very streaky throughout his career, and he hasn't had a lot of those streaks, Tom, that you just mentioned this season. And that's why he's been able to stay away from a lot of problems and have that high batting average.
Opposite way down the right field line. A foul ball. .25 pitches in this inning for Joe. Last night Cliff Lee went 5 2/3. The bullpen picked up from there. And he broke his bat. Looper toward left. Francisco is there. And the inning is over. So Blanton strands a runner at second base. He allows 2 runs in the inning on 2 base hits. We go to the bottom of the first. It's 2-0 Marlins. Ben Francisco, the left fielder, hits 6th. Greg Dobbs is at third base, batting 7th. Batting 8th and catching is Carlos Ruiz. And on the mound and pitching is Joe Blanton. And they will face big right-hander Rick Vandenherk, who is making his 11th start of the year. He's 2-2 with a 4.44 earned run average. And his last start was against the Phillies when he allowed 4 runs on 7 hits over 6 innings. And There were times in that game, Wheels, where he looked pretty good.
Real good. He's gotten away from throwing that big overhand curveball too much. He's more of a sinker, slider, changeup guy. As you look at the numbers there for him, our Southwest Airlines scouting report: curve, changeup, slider. He has a very good fastball with movement. And as they said, the thing that they say around the Marlins that's changed him is they got away from that big old slow hook that he was throwing so much.
Facing Shane Victorino to start the bottom of the first. Shane batting leadoff for the 15th time this year.
Up until last time Phillies faced him, every time they'd face Vandenhurst, they really hit him hard, and last time he did pitch well against him.
Shane with a .293 average and 10 homers and 61 RBIs, and he is 0 for 5 against Vandenhurst, and it includes that game on the 23rd. And it's 2-2. Shane batting leadoff because Jimmy Rollins is getting tonight off. What a second half Jimmy has had. Little flare to left center field. And it's Coughlin's call. And Victorino's retired for the first out. So one away as Shane goes back to the dugout. And that'll bring Miguel Cairo to the plate. On this beautiful night here at Citizens Bank Park, the fans are getting a chance to see a much different look on the infield. And one of the different looks is Cairo playing shortstop. And Miguel, who's had himself a good month of September, overall hitting .235 with 1 run batted in. Yeah, he might be playing himself onto the postseason roster. We'll see.
Well, they have a lot of decisions to make, and just talking to Charlie Mandel this afternoon before the game, they're all just kind of shaking their heads down there because the pitching. Romero can't go now. They know Park can't go. So that took a couple potential very good bullpen pieces away.
There's J.C. Romero sitting on the bench talking to Raul and Pedro Feliz. Little chopper foul. It's 0-2. Well, Chan-Ho Park came back last night from Florida after throwing 2 innings in an instructional league game and just felt that hamstring was bothering him more. And he was limping an awful lot last night when he was leaving the ballpark. And it looks like his season is going to come to a close. So the Phillies bullpen for the postseason is going to be a mixture of those guys right there. Maybe a couple of others. One ball and 2 strikes to Cairo. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the White Sox lead the Tigers 1-0 at the top of the 2nd inning. Detroit can clinch the American League Central with a victory tonight. Minnesota, meanwhile, is home against the Kansas City Royals. That one will get underway shortly. Cairo stays alive. It remains 1-2. Well, speaking of the Central, here's the standings. The Twins are 2 games back. So if Detroit wins tonight and Minnesota loses, it's over. And if Detroit wins tonight and Minnesota wins, it remains 2 going into tomorrow. That means the Tigers have clinched at least a tie and potentially could be a playoff on Monday. Wouldn't mind a playoff, Wheels. And why not? We won't be involved in it.
Oh, that's right. Anybody else? Oh boy, that has to be gut wrenching. Now you go the whole season, you have to play one more. Man.
I figure there are a lot of teams that would love to have that opportunity that will not.
That happened with Houston. They had to win a playoff to meet the Phillies in the League Championship Series in '80. Who'd they beat? They beat the Dodgers.
Dodgers, yeah.
Right. They beat the Dodgers in a playoff. And then came to Philadelphia.
Well, and then in '07, the Rockies and the Padres had to play that playoff.
And they came to Philadelphia.
There's no chance that Minnesota or Detroit are coming to Philadelphia.
No, not till next year.
unless Minnesota or Detroit have won the American League pennant.
That's covering all your bases.
Yeah.
Right there. Good job. Typical Cairo. He does make pitchers work. He fouls off a lot of pitches.
And he hits that one toward the middle. A base hit for Miguel Cairo. A one-out single, and he's aboard here at the bottom of the first inning.
And every time they play this guy or he gets a chance to go out there, he does something positive.
Well, at least since he's been recalled.
Yeah, and that's because he played all the time. You know, when he early in the season when they were using him as a pinch hitter, he used to just come up and swing at the first pitch and make outs. Then he went and played all year in AAA. Since he's come back up here, you can tell he's had a lot of at-bats.
He had 287 at AAA with 5 homers and 33 runs batted in. That's his 7th hit in his last 15 at-bats. So with one away and a runner on first after an off day yesterday, Chase Utley's digging in.
He's not a guy who's going to come off the bench and scare another manager because he's not a power guy. But he is a guy who can come off the bench and put a ball in play when you need it.
Chase's average is at 285, 31 home runs and 93 runs batted in. And he hits one in the air to straightaway center field. Cameron Maybin waiting for it. And that's the second out of the inning. And it brings us to our Geico quote of the day. And it comes from Chase Utley, who had that day off yesterday. And he's talking about players getting off days. I think it will help, but I still feel we should win some more games. But I think it will be beneficial for the guys who have played 150 games or more. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 800-947-AUTO. And, you know, that's a good point. You think about the injuries the Phillies have had this year. A majority of the injuries have been to the bullpen. So the position players have pretty much played every day. They've had some nagging injuries. So there's a lot of guys that have played a lot of games this season for the Phillies.
That's one of the reasons. Another one of the reasons why they had a good year is their regulars have played a lot. You know, when your regulars start going down and can't play, look at the Mets, for example. You start losing your everyday players. No team's really deep enough to cover star players over a long period of time. You're going to lose.
One ball and one strike to count to Ryan. Vandenberg has held Ryan Howard to a 167 average in the limited time that they have faced each other. Ryan is 1 for 6 against him. The lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Albert Pollock from Coatesville, PA. If the Phillies hit a home run in tonight's ball game, then Albert will win $200. Cairo's on first, 2 outs. Phillies trail at 2-0. And that one's in the air, deep to right center field. Forget about that one. Gone into the Marlins bullpen. Ryan Howard, a 2-run home run. Man, he crushed that one. And the Phillies have tied this ball game up at 2 apiece. Boy, he smoked it.
Yeah, that had that sound. When they make that sound, you just wonder how far they're going to go.
And Albert Pollock of Coatesville, PA, you've just won $200. Compliments of Ryan Howard and the McDonald's home run jackpot. Not only that for Ryan, it's his 44th homer. He has 140 RBIs.
That was a fastball. Run right back into the middle of the plate and bang. That's how far is that one going to go? How about into the Marlins bullpen, as Tom said? That cleared everything out there and into their pen.
25th career home run against the Marlins.
Or that going to Phillies? No, that went in their bullpen. Right?
I think it went in their bullpen.
Yeah. Man, that's a long home run.
That's a lot of RBIs too.
Boy, he could do some launching. He's fun to watch.
Jason Worth is the hitter. And that one misses outside. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Jason. That home run by Ryan was his 221st of his career. He needs 2 more to tie Greg Luzinski for 5th place. Off the hands, and it's a foul ball, and Jason broke his bat.
Vandenberg threw a home run to Ibanez in that game that he pitched down in Florida. Left-handed hitters now have 7 off him, and right-handed hitters 4 for a total of 11.
Two and 2 the count to Jason. And he's down on strikes, so the inning is over. But what a good inning it was for the Phillies. They have tied this ball game up thanks to a long 2-run home run by Ryan Howard. The big man can hit him far, and he hit this one a ton to right center field. This ball game's even at 2. You know, Blanton so far against these first 7 hitters is just missing low with his fastball. That one was in there, so it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Ryan Howard, though, probably makes Joe Blanton feel pretty comfortable right now as he's tied this ball game up with a 2-run home run.
And he got those 2 back pretty fast.
That one is to right center field, not that deep. And Victorino makes the grab.
That's where it landed, right back in there, behind this fence out there. And the Marlins bullpen, as Tom said, that is a long home run. They had it up there at 425 feet.
And it was a line drive, too. I mean, it was a bullet.
Yeah, that wasn't one of the real high ones that he hits. Here's a look at it.
Well, it's pretty high.
Yeah, it's high, but some of them are just so high they take forever to come down.
There's Bonifacio playing shortstop tonight for the Marlins. Bonifacio hitting .251 on the year. He is 2 for 11 against Joe Blanton.
These guys got off to an unbelievable start this year. And the reason was Bonifacio. Then they went into Pittsburgh and got swept, and then the Phillies went into Florida and swept them, and they were that way all year, back and forth, win lose on long streaks.
Down the right field line and a hook foul.
And Bonifacio was so effective early in the year that they really thought they had found a third baseman. They moved Cantu over to first, and everything was going great. But it so happens in a long baseball season, stay with them because things change. There you go. That's the way they started. And since April, they're a 500 team since that date.
Well, Bonifacio will be aboard with one out here in the second. Yeah, we talk about the Marlins and the fact that they may not have Dan Uggla after this year. Bonifacio is a candidate to be put at second base too, because that's his natural position.
I don't know. I don't think he's an everyday player. That's the problem. He's one of those guys that he's a tools guy. He can run. He can do some things. But I think he gets exposed when he plays too much.
Well, he's on first, and Vandenherk shows bunt and takes a pitch for a strike. It's 0-1.
And he's not the first guy in this sport that ever happened to.
No.
You know, there are certain guys that are backup players, and when they play too much, they're exposed as backup players.
See, Vandenherk 0 for 18 this year. And he bunts that one foul up the first base line. If he lays this bunt down fair, it's really difficult for the Phillies to get Bonifacio at second.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
You don't even think about it. The only way you'd even think about it is if it's popped in the air and he freezes between first and second, maybe. Other than that, get the second out and move on, because he can fly.
He bunts at it again, and he's down on strikes. That's the first strikeout for Blanton. And there are two away. Visit the official online shop of the Phillies at Phillies.com. Browse the largest online selection of authentic team gear, including official caps, t-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more. And now check out the newly added Phillies Authentic section, featuring authenticated game-used items, memorabilia, as well as autographed items. Get your gear straight from the source. Shop the Phillies.com shop. Two away, and here's Coghlan, who scored a run back in the first. He walked to start the game.
No, this is the time when he'll run with two outs, try to get into scoring position for a good contact hitter like Coghlan. And Joe Blanton either threw over there on his own, or he got a throw over from the dugout through Carlos Ruiz.
Oh, he was leaning.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Bonifacio got his hand back.
He wants to go now. Now every pitch, Carlos will look in the dugout and see if they give him a throw over or not.
That one's toward the gap in left center field. It's going to split Francisco and Victorino, and Bonifacio is going to score all the way from first base. So Coghlan's going to have an RBI, and the Marlins are going to retake the lead.
Boy, that guy's a good hitter.
So an RBI double for Chris Coghlan.
Blanton got hurt on a high fastball.
29th double of the season for Coghlan.
See, it's a high fastball right down the middle, and he uses the whole field and shoots it right out there, the Southwest Airlines sign. Marlins organization, everybody's really pushing that kid for Rookie of the Year, and why not? Why wouldn't you? You look at their notes page, the first page of their notes is almost all Chris Coghlan notes.
I think it's safe to say that it's going to come down to Coghlan, J. Happ, Casey McGee from the Brewers. Although Casey McGee nobody really knows too much about, and he's having himself a good year. And maybe Tommy Hanson from the Braves, but we'll see. Hello, with Chris Wheeler. I'm Tom McCarthy, live from Citizens Bank Park.
Yeah, Tommy Hanson will get some votes.
Two balls, two strikes, the count to Maben. Line drive toward the gap in left center. That's going to be another extra base hit for the Marlins. Coughlin will stroll home from second. Maven's around second. He's going to hold up there. It's an RBI double, and the Marlins lead it 4-2. Second hit of the ball game for Cameron Maven.
Breaking ball. Well, just like that, Fish come and get 2 back after the Phillies had tied the game. And he makes a mistake with the slider. You see where Carlos Ruiz was set up, where they wanted the pitch, and it didn't get there.
Well, he delivers a fastball high to Nick Johnson, so it's 1-0. Rich Doobie and Charlie Manuel know that their starters might need to be picked up at some point in this ball game, but they would probably like them to go a little deeper than what Blanton is potentially going to go here, that being his 44th pitch of the night. Johnson grounded out to Chase Utley his first time up. Good change up there. It's 2-1. Maven has good speed. He's leading off second. And there's ball 4. So Johnson draws the walk. It's the second walk issued by Joe. And Rich Doobie's going to head out to the mound with 2 runners on. One of the keys to Blanton's success in the second half of the season is that he hadn't really walked too many guys per outing. His last outing against the Brewers, he walked 2. The time before, he walked just 2. But the issue here is more the deep counts and some of the balls that he's leaving up in the zone. Celebrate the 42-year history of the legendary arena, the Spectrum. Hear from the people that called the Spectrum home. Don't miss the hour-long documentary, The Spectrum, Building a Memory, Monday night at 9 on Comcast Sportsnet. Wheels, I don't know about you. I've seen so many concerts and basketball games.
Great building.
Hockey games at the Spectrum.
When that thing was first built, that was one of those state-of-the-art places. They had that one year when the roof blew off. And it moved. I remember seeing a 76ers Celtics game, playoff game at Convention Hall. I mean, at the Palestra. And what a thrill that was, watching Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell play in the Palestra.
Right on top of the action.
Amazing.
First basketball game I saw at the Spectrum was the Globetrotters.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was fun. The first
Curly Neal and Meadowlark Lemon.
Yeah, the first one we saw as kids were they used to play at the old Convention Hall where the Warriors played, and who was that? Red Klotz was on the Washington Generals, and he was the guy they used to make fun of all the time. He's a pretty good player too. Those Globies were fun to watch. Wilt Chamberlain played for them for a little while.
Sweet Lou Dunbar.
Yeah. Oh, Meadowlark Lemon was the Globetrotters.
Geese Osby. Marcus Haynes, he could dribble.
Oh, they could all play. They didn't lose much either, did they? Washington Generals, right? Were their foils? A team that would lose all the time too. Yeah, great building, and talking about all the tremendous memories and great games played there, as you say, concerts.
There's a pop-up right side, foul territory. Ryan Howard is on it, and the inning is over. But Joe Blanton does give up 2 more runs here in the second. He strands 2. Middle of the second, Phillies trail at 4-2. 3:30 prior to the game. Chris Wheeler will be autographing copies of his book, A View from the Booth. The book signing will take place in the main concourse adjacent to the newsstand behind Section 111. And earlier today, fans were already starting to line up outside. I mean, the line went on and on and on. In fact, people brought lawn chairs. They brought sleeping bags. I mean, if you're outside the ballpark tonight, just be careful walking by the Robin Roberts statue, because there's a lot of traffic out there right now.
You guys are out of control.
You going to go out and bring donuts to all those folks?
Yeah.
Coffee?
Right. I'd like to have 1/4 that many people come by tomorrow. That'd be very nice.
That's almost like Paternoville, Wheels, before a Penn State football game. Everybody outside waiting.
Without the tents.
Well, we don't know if they're setting them up yet. That was earlier today.
Yeah. We'll make a visit, huh?
Ben Francisco leads things off, and he hits a towering fly ball down the left field line. Not that deep. Coghlan is there, and one away. Katie Hoy, the Phillies ball girl down the left field line, thought she would have to make a play, and in fact, I think she was trying to call Coghlan off on that one.
About how far Bonifacio went for that ball, just in case Coghlan couldn't catch it. That's a long way for a shortstop to go for a fly ball.
Oh, with one out, the Phillies trailing it by 2. Greg Dobbs is the batter. Greg getting a chance to start tonight at third base. He's been working hard to get that calf muscle back in shape. And he lofts it toward really the same spot where Francisco was retired, and they're 2 away. Two outs. Here's Carlos Ruiz. Carlos, a .253 hitter, 9 homers and 43 runs batted in, but he has had himself a heck of a second half. I think since the 1st of August is when Carlos started to hit the baseball a little bit better, to rise his average up to .253, where it is right now.
He was a good postseason player last year, too.
And he lines that one down the left field line. That's going to be in for an extra base hit. Rolling all the way to the wall, and Ruiz will pull into second base with a stand-up 2-out double. 26th double of the year for Carlos. That's a good sign that that wrist is not bothering him, that he's able to take hacks like that on inside, pitches where he has to pull it. I mean, that's a really good sign for the Phillies.
Yeah, the worst thing he could do right now is check swing, probably. Even a swing and a miss isn't good, but a check swing can really hurt a wrist. He got a high fastball there. Extra base hit.
So the Phillies have a runner in scoring position. Joe Blanton, the batter. Blanton 7 for 54 this year. He saves all of his big hits for the postseason.
Right.
For the World Series.
As an RBI.
Got a chance for another one. Three 3-0 the count to Joe. Taken here, Wills?
Oh. How about 2-0?
There's one. Pops that one behind home plate. Baker wandering over, but it's back into the seats. And it's full 3-2. opposite way, and it hangs up there. Brett Carroll makes the grab, and the inning comes to a close. So the Phillies strand one in scoring position, and you were wondering about outside if there were 10s for tomorrow's book signing. There it is, Wheelerville, everybody, as we go to the third. The answer will be revealed in the 7th inning. What do you think, Wheels?
No chance.
Streak is not continuing tonight?
No, truly you can play the parties over.
Well, just so you know, you were at the ball game.
I was?
You were.
What year was it?
Can't tell you that.
Were you there?
No.
Helps a little.
I may have been there.
Oh, that really helps.
John Baker's the batter. He takes a swing and a miss.
Get off the fence. Were you or not?
Well, I wasn't there in a Phillies capacity. I may have been there as a fan.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Baker pulls it to the right side. Good play on the glove side by Howard, and Blanton does a nice job. Textbook defense there with the pitcher covering one away.
I remember a Marlin hitting 3 home runs in a game. Now I don't know if he hit any of if he hit 2 in the same inning, but he hit 3 home runs in a game at Citizens Bank Park. Potential guess.
Well, it was not at Citizens Bank Park.
Okay.
One out for Dan Uggla. Uggla popped out to left his first time up. Joe looking for a clean inning here in the third. And a liner and a base hit toward the hole at shortstop. So Uggla's aboard with a 1-out single. Hey, don't get shut out of the games you want to see. You could be on deck to be among the first Philly fans to lock in your seats with a new 2010 season ticket plan. Phillies are now taking deposits for all full and partial ticket plans. You know, the 17-game plan, the 14-game plan. For more information or to make a deposit, log on to Phillies.com or call 215-463-5000. You might be able to get your same seat each and every day you come here to the ballpark. Brett Carroll takes one up. It's 1-0. Brett Carroll flied out to shallow center field his first time up.
Brett Carroll got that walk-off hit last game the Phillies played in, is it Landshark Stadium this year? Nice extra man. A little power.
Well, he's hit well with runners in scoring position too, and that's helped him. Takes that pitch low. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. In the air to right center field. A towering shot. That's pretty deep, but Jason Worth is there, and he makes the catch. And his throw back to first, not in time as Dan Uggla gets back. So 2 away. Well, it's that time of the night. We want to thank our good friend Isaac Benich, who is our video replay operator, for all the work that he has done this year to make this such a memorable season for us here in the Philly Television Network, and also for you, the fan. Most memorable game, my wife went to a game and held up a sign that said she was pregnant. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Does it get on the air?
That's a good question.
I mean, that would have been really neat for the in-laws to see, you know.
This is what Isaac does right there. Boom. Get a chance to see the swing by Carroll and reaction by Joe Blanton.
Yeah, we appreciate those replays. I know the fans do.
Well, they are such a big part of this game to tell the story from all different angles than the angle that you're watching at when the pitch comes to the hitter. One and two the count to Bonifacio. That's a base hit for Bonifacio to right. Uggla's around second. He's going to head on to third, and he'll get there. So the Marlins have runners on first and third with 2 away. Vandenherk, the pitcher, is due up.
Well, Blanton can still see his way out of the inning, making some pitches to Vandenherk, who's 0 for 19 with 15 strikeouts. Now that's an out.
That's an out. Vandenherk tried to bunt his last time up and wound up going down on strikes as he bunted the third strike foul. And that one's inside.
And this, of course, is one time where Bonifacio will not try to run, because if he's thrown out, then the pitcher leads off. Or if he does, he better make it. He must not hit a whole lot in Holland.
Well, his dad did own a baseball school. 2-1 the count to Vandenherk.
Vandenherk's looking at him. Home plate umpire Jerry Davis, like, you know how tall I am? How could that have been a strike?
Runner goes from first. The pitch is swung on and missed. And Blanton gets out of the inning. He strands 2 more. He has stranded 5 through the first 3 innings. We go to the bottom of the third. It's 4-2 Florida. can be. Last of the third on his Friday night. The Fanatic is in playoff form. Fanatic's going to have a busy postseason as well. Expecting sold-out crowds and standing room only here at this ballpark when the playoffs get underway. Phillies will either be here at home on Wednesday or on the road on Wednesday. And they're hoping, of course, to not only be at home for games 1 and 2 in the first round, but also the first couple of games in the second round.
Well, that's why they need to get after it in these games that are remaining. Last night they were really flat after the big celebration the night before, and you know, tonight there's a little energy, but you know, Joe Blanton's struggling a little bit, and that's got him back on their heels.
Well, top of the order is due up to start the bottom of the third. Shane Victorino flied out his first time up, so he's 0 for 1. Shane has scored 101 runs this year. Second straight season now that he's got 100 runs scored. Has 179 base hits. And he pulls that one on a few hops to Nick Johnson, so he's retired for the first out. Hey, close out the game with Marshall Harris for the most extensive game breakdown and get the expert analysis of former pitcher Ricky Bottalico, plus Amy Fadul's exclusive player interviews on Sloan Toyota presents Phillies post-game live after the game only on Comcast Sportsnet. Ricky knows that we were looking for him tonight. In fact, he and Marshall are together here at the ballpark. Marshall, we're talking about you also.
And Neil Hartman told me last night he started getting all kinds of phone calls. Hey, they're looking for you. We finally found you.
Ricky said he wished that somebody had text messaged him that, you know, he was going to be on TV, because then he wouldn't have been text messaging while we had him on TV.
Makes sense.
Making, you know, sending some notes out to some friends.
Right.
0-2 the count to Cairo. Miguel singled and scored. He was aboard when Ryan hit that long 2-run home run. The layout of the postseason, as far as the teams go, is set in the National League, but the entire landscape can really be changed by these 3 games this weekend in Philadelphia, the games the Cardinals are playing in St. Louis against the Brewers, and the 3 out in Los Angeles between the Dodgers and the Colorado Rockies. And a lot of times when you see that all 4 participants are already established, you think, all right, well, it's over. But you know, as we said, the seeding, which is so important.
No, it's
we're not gonna know the seeding really until Sunday.
And it's certainly worth it to kick it in gear a little bit and try and, you know, not like don't try, but really try to get after it and win these games. They're important. And I know it's hard after you've clinched something. They're not used to this aspect of it. But they're well aware of the good things that could happen, because these fans are so unbelievable in these home games that you want to play as many as possible. Heck, they didn't lose a home game in postseason last year. What is it? What more do you have to know? And it wasn't like they needed the last at bat to do it.
Well, the other thing too is the Phillies have played so well here at home since the 1st of July. After struggling so much before that. 1 ball, 1 strike, the count to Chase. And Chase hits it in the air to left center field, fairly deep, but it looks like it's playable for Coghlan. He had an odd finish to that route, but he makes the grab, and the Phillies are down in order here in the 3rd. 1, 2, 3, go the Phils. We go to the 4th. Marlins lead it by 2. Email fandevdev@phillies.com or call 215-463-1000 for more information. And the Fanatic working his way through the crowd. Another sold-out crowd here at the ballpark as we begin the top of the fourth. Gary Matthews joins us as Chris Coghlan, who has scored 2 runs tonight for the Marlins, takes the first pitch in the dirt. So 1 ball and no strikes the count to Coghlan. Coghlan, with his 2 runs scored, is 81 on the year. We are so used to this place just being packed every single night. You can't imagine a night where that upper deck is not filled to capacity, that Ashburn Alley is not packed with folks walking up and down. I mean, it's just it would be odd to see it empty like that.
Yeah, still quite a few people that are here.
Oh, 1 out, and Cameron Maben is the batter. Maben is 2 for 2. He has singled and scored. He has driven in a run with a double.
Another one of those guys that can really run fast. They're kind of counting on Maben. Just didn't work out early on. He's another candidate to go to winter ball and try and play and hone in on his craft. Just needs to become more consistent. He's got all the tools.
That one's back toward the middle. Cairo takes a big hop, throws off balance in time to get Maben. Boy, everything worked perfectly for Miguel Cairo, particularly that last hop, which he was able to field around the second base bag.
Yeah, if he had to go down, it would have been a lot tougher play. You can see the ball as it goes up. He gets a nice hop as he's coming across the bag and makes a strong throw. Look at that as he comes. That's that easy hop. If he had to stay down on it, it's been difficult to get him, but he made a good play out.
So 2 away. Nick Johnson's the batter. Joe Blanton misses outside with the first pitch. And a base hit for Nick Johnson. It's his first hit in his last 19 at-bats. And it's a 2-out single. He had really been scuffling.
Yeah, he continues to have bad luck. Had the flu for a pretty long time. Was pretty weak. He always seems to have some type of little nagging injury, if not a very difficult injury.
Cantu swings and misses at the off-speed pitch, and the count is 0-1.
He's trying to get to 100 RBIs. He has 98. He's driven in 35 runs, however, in the first run alone. He's tops in really the major leagues. It's pretty nice when you come up the first inning. You know that you're going to get an RBI.
Used to bat in the first inning a lot of different times. I mean, as a hitter, is there anything better than that, just getting your day started off so quickly?
I think what you like, especially if you're hitting third or fourth, you get a chance to look at the pitcher when you're coming up, kind of see the movement, and then if someone hits a triple or you have runners on first and third, you're looking at happy days. You can get something going right away.
Line drive, 1 hopper right at Dobbs. He'll go the short way to second, and Johnson's retired, and the inning is over. So this was a better inning for Joe Blanton. We played 3.5. Ryan Howard is due up. We come back at the bottom of the fourth. Of the Phillies, and by Ford Fusion Hybrid, the most fuel efficient midsize. Drive one today. Now some of the young Phillies fans enjoying their night at the ballpark, seeing that red light, thinking, boy, this is my debut on television. And for some, their first Phillies game. He's got the garb on, he's looking good. Ryan Howard looked good in his last at bat, a long 2-run home run. 44th homer of the year, 140 RBIs. And he takes a slider for a strike.
Yeah, I think he hit a fastball, maybe something down. If I remember right. Put a good swing on the ball.
Fastball inside, 2-1 the count to Ryan. There you go, Sarge. Here's that pitch.
First inning, off-speed pitch it was. Stayed right out over the plate. Can't let time there for Ryan Howard. But when he hits them and they start to go, it's just no doubt about it. Especially when they're line drives.
Well, those fans right there, watch them go, watch that ball go right over their heads. And he hits that one hard into shallow right field. Dan Ugla retires him, so 1 away. Well, it's that time again where we thank some of the folks who have done such a great job with their work on the Phillies television network, and we couldn't put up all these graphics, including that one right there, without the help of Frank Bueno. His age, well, dirt was new. Most memorable game, the 1980 League Championship Series, Game 5 versus the Astros. There were a lot of people on the edge of their seat for that one. And Frank, those graphics, along with replays, are such a big part of what we do to present this product. And there's not too many folks that can do it better than Frank. So thank you for all you've done. As Jason Worth is retired for the second out. So 2 away. And Ben Francisco will bat. And that's what Frank does right there. Two 2-0 the count to Ben Francisco as Vandenherk asks for a new ball.
You notice how Ben, when he's up at the plate, he's on that front foot. He has it up a little bit, and what that will do, simple, will make you rotate on the ball. See how he has it up a little bit off that dirt? Then he comes in. That was a little bit hard, though, that he landed. Want to land soft if you can. There it is. It's up there just a little.
And he pulls it on a few hops to Bonifacio at shortstop. And he's retired, and the inning is over. 1, 2, 3 go the Phils for the second straight inning. We've completed 4. Phillies trail it by 2. at 1:30 this Sunday. Florida Marlins and the Phillies with 2 more games left. Again, tomorrow's ball game was originally scheduled for a night game. It is now a 4:10 start. Just to remind everybody, if you hold tickets for the Saturday. And a reminder, Sunday, at the end of that ball game, we'll have the end of the year highlights plus a tribute to the great HK. And that will be following Sunday's ball game between the Phillies and the Marlins here on the Phillies Television Network. 2-1 the count to John Baker. And he lines one to right, but right at Jason Worth. Now the Toyota Major League scoreboard. The White Sox lead the Tigers 3-0. That game's in the 5th. Jake Peavy's allowed just 1 hit through 4 for the White Sox. Meanwhile, Kansas City and Minnesota just underway. And no score in the bottom of the 1st, but the Twins, they do have a base runner with 1 out. And again, Detroit is 2 games up in the American League Central. So this is a big weekend.
Oh, it sure is.
Sarge, it's got to be hard if you're the Twins or the Tigers to know that at the end of this weekend, even if you battle and get close within a game, maybe tie for the divisional lead, that somebody could be going home after just being inches away from getting to the postseason.
And that is not a happy feeling. Right now Detroit really feels that they are in the driver's seat. Minnesota feeling that they're playing good ball and can catch them, and they want to do everything they can, and that's by going out winning 3 straight.
That's right. At Dobbs hit so hard he was able to block it and then pick it up and throw out Dan Uggla for the 2nd out. So 2 men down. And here's Brett Carroll. He's 0 for 2. He's flat out twice, once to center, once to right. Good breaking ball there by Joe Black. You see the pitches by inning for Joe. He has gotten better as the night's gone on. This will be the 10th pitch of this inning, and it's a strike, so it's 1-2.
So a really nice breaking ball here this inning. Getting that ball out of the zone, but more importantly, in a good spot as he gets some good break on the pitch.
It'll roll foul. Dobbs is there. Toward third again. Dobbs down to his left. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Joe Bledin. First 1-2-3 inning of the night for Joe. He's retired the last 4 batters he's faced. We go to the bottom of the 5th. It'll be the bottom of the order due up for the Phillies. Phillies race to repeat. That's Sunday night at 10:30, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Nobody does Phillies playoffs better. Last of the fifth. Phillies trail at 4-2. Bottom of the order. Due up. It includes Joe Blanton, who's talking to Jay Happ right now in that Phillies dugout. Greg Dobbs leads it off and takes a fastball for a strike.
Whenever the playoffs get started, you want to go through those playoffs and have momentum going.
That one's over the mound. Bonifacio got there quickly and it played perfectly. Yeah, there's one away. Oh, one more time tonight. We want to say hello and thanks to some of the folks who have done such great work this year. And all the way out there, you can see him ever so slightly. Is Greg Farnese, who is our left field camera operator. There he is. Earlier this year, he had a big head of hair. He doesn't have that head of hair anymore. And if you remember, it's a very nice look. If you remember, Greg did the Open earlier this year with Charlie O'Gara. They're trying to stir things up, get things turned around for the Phillies. And Greg did a great job with that Open and does an even better job on that camera out in left field.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. He did do the Open and did a good job on that. Those aren't easy things to always do.
Well, just so you know, Tom, I've been out here all year with a microphone attached to my camera. And Charlie and I've been waiting for you to come to us, but...
Well, Charlie's in Colorado, Greg, so you're going to have to do all the talking for him tonight.
Well, it dawned on me today while I was waiting in line for Wheels' book that the Phillies' home record is pretty good since we did that Open. Look it up.
Well, you're right. Since the 1st of July, the Phillies have the second best home record in Major League Baseball behind the New York Yankees. So, you know, there was a little magic dust that you were able to sprinkle on top of them there, Greg. So nice going. I never knew that those cameras could have a microphone come out of them like that.
Boy, I tell you, that was a little shocking, wasn't it?
It was. But there was a lot, you know, the first time he was on camera seemed to ease him the second time. That's Greg's shot right there. So all those home runs to left, Greg has the first real view of them coming at you in front of Harry the K's. 3-2 the count to Ruiz.
Well, Ruiz staying in there on the tough right-hander, not bailing at the plate, going right into the ball. I tell you, that 2-2, 3-2 slider from the righty to righty, toughest pitch to hold up on. It looks like a fastball coming in at the last minute. It darts away. Really got to pick up the spin as quick as you can to be able to hit it.
We were talking before, Sarge, about that sore wrist that Carlos has, the left wrist. And, you know, it didn't look like it was bothering him at all in that swing when he pulled the ball down the left field line. Does he have to be careful this weekend?
As long as he makes contact, he's fine. Good at that. You know, you swing and miss. That's when that wrist affects you a little bit more. And also on the check swing. When you check swing, that will also bother the wrist some.
First base runner for the Phillies since Ruiz doubled in the second. And it's the first walk allowed by Vandenherk.
Still a bunting situation. Game still manageable for the Fighting Phils to come back.
Joe flied out to right his first time up. After working the count in his favor, 3 balls and no strikes.
Be interesting to see the roster for the playoffs, and I mean mostly the pitchers and exactly what they're going to do. And I think a lot has to do, Tom, with guys being healthy.
Blanton bunts it to the right of the mound, and Vandenherk's going to run more than halfway to the bag before he flips to Uggla. Sacrifice is successful. Well, Sarge, we understand that J.C. Romero is probably not going to be available for the rest of the season. Obviously, Chan-Ho Park hurt himself yesterday as he was trying to get himself back and get healthy again. So those are two big pieces right there for the Phillies. One left-hander, one right-hander that's not going to be available for the postseason. That answers some of the questions.
Yeah, well, Park for me was huge because he can go 2 and 3 innings, and any of the guys that are doing good jobs, and especially if they've had experience before, that will hurt. So, you know, Charlie's going to do the best he can and put the guys that he thinks is going to be able to make them win is what he's looking for. Just like the Army, looking for a few good men.
Well, it is different, though, it seems, than last year at this time. There were questions that the Phillies had roster-wise, but they were able to handle them a little easier. And it's because the bullpen was healthy last year at this time.
That's a real good point. Guys were healthy. They knew what guys could do. And when you have that situation, it does make it easier for the manager. The guys have a lot of pride, and you're looking at the bullpen, and a lot of guys haven't thrown the whole year. Brett Myers, for one, hasn't thrown the whole year. The guys have been in and out of the bullpen. Condrey was hurt some with that oblique. So even some of the guys that they're taking won't always be, you would think, 100%. Looking at Durbin there, Tyler Walker behind him. You know, and those are anxious moments for the pitchers in the bullpen because obviously you go the whole year. Icing on the cake for you is to make postseason, and especially if you haven't been there before.
0-2 the count to Victorino with a runner at second. 2 outs. And Shane goes the opposite way toward the hole at shortstop. Bonifacio has no play. That's an infield single for Victorino. At least it should be. And that'll put runners on first and third. Bonifacio may have had a chance to get Ruiz at third base.
Yeah, once he double pumped, it was all over on both runners. The better chance, however, on Ruiz, as you can see, he's off and running right away as he hesitated just a little bit. See, the third baseman is actually back. That's the reason why he couldn't throw over to third base. Cantu didn't get back in time. And once he looked over the first, you can just forget about it. Victorino all over that bag.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think if Cantu had gotten closer to the third base bag, he may have made the throw over to try to get him.
Yeah, then he had to hesitate. No way.
So now runners on first and third for Cairo. Swinging at the first pitch, he fouls it back. It's 0-1.
Well, there's where that speed helps you out to get yourself a hit. Infield hit. One thing you can't teach is the speed, God-given talent, being able to run the way that Victorino runs.
On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, well, the pressure is on. The Twins, thanks to a grand slam by Delwyn Young, scored 5 runs in the bottom of the first inning. They lead the Royals 5-0. And the White Sox still lead the Tigers 3-0. That game's in the top of the 6th inning. And Peavy is still only allowed 1 hit now through 5 innings.
Well, everybody knows that Jake Peavy is a good pitcher when he is healthy. The #1 pitcher for the Padres before being traded over to the White Sox. He's a legit #1, meaning that that's a guy that can shut you out if his arm is sound. But there's so many pitchers have been coming up with arm problems. You wonder why. I mean, you have exercise guys and therapists all over the place. Masseuses just about in every clubhouse. You wonder how you would pull any muscle with all of that going on. Do remember, though, Willie Mays used to always have a masseuse, and even then getting a massage. But our thing was that we didn't want to be in the trainer's room. That was a big thing. Don't let anyone see you in the trainer's room.
1-2 the count to Cairo. Victorino started. The pitch is checked, and C.B. Buckner says the Cairo went around, and the inning is over. So the Phillies get a couple base runners, one in scoring position. They strand two. We have played 5. Marlins lead it by 2. And now he'll try to feed off of that 5th inning as he faces 8, 9, and 1 for the Marlins here in the top of the 6th inning. Emilio Bonifacio is 2 for 2. Shows bunt, bunts it toward third, but it's foul.
I mean, obviously they want to win the game, but these games for like Cliff Lee along with Blanton, you would think, are tune-ups for the postseason. And Charlie talked about being able to split the left-handers out before. When Pedro Martinez was pitching well, you thought maybe he would be in that spot, but he's had some problems with some little nagging injuries.
Bonifacio breaks his bat, a 1-hopper to Chase, 1 away.
Well, the one thing you do like about Joe Blanton is that he's not afraid, and he'll go in and he'll give you the effort that you're going to need. And pitcher's job is to hold the team close, so that gives your team a chance to win.
Well, that's what he's done tonight. He allowed the 4 runs in the first 2 innings, but that's been it. As Vandenherk stands in and takes one at the knees for a strike. But Sarge, I think you bring up a good point, because from the rotation's view, come postseason time, I'm not sure if they have everything set the way they want it just yet. I mean, they have the guys they could choose from, but I don't think they have it lined up just yet on who's going to start which games.
I don't think so. I mean, the first 2 games you would think it'll be again Cliff Lee along with maybe Joe Blanton. Thinking maybe Hamels after that, but again, we'll see. Could be Happ. J.A. Happ they've thrown in there. He's thrown the ball awful well.
Vandenherk down looking. Hey, if you want to be a 2010 Phillies ball girl, well, then you can send a resume and 2-minute DVD highlighting your softball skills and why you'd be a great addition to the ball girl team, like Katie Hoy, to Philadelphia Phillies. Attention ball girl applicant, or Irina Burgos, 1 Citizens Bank Way, Philadelphia, PA 19148. The submissions are due by the 16th of October. No phone calls, please. Chris Coughlin is the batter with 2 away, and he takes a hook for a strike. Coughlin has scored twice. He's doubled home a run.
He's having an excellent rookie year. He'll be in the running where I think that Rookie of the Year has got a high average, 318. Consistency is what you got to have, but he's been pretty consistent that second half, for sure.
Well, he had 47 hits in the month of August alone.
Wow. That's a lot of hits.
Yep. And it's continued here in September.
Yeah, it's kind of almost hitting the ball like Ichiro, getting all those hits in a month.
Chase Utley will take a nice hop, throw out over the first. Another 1-2-3 inning for Joe Blanton. He's retired 7 in a row. Phillies, as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, down 2 with Chase Utley due to lead it off. West.com. Grab your bag. It's on. By WB Mason. Who but WB Mason for amazingly low office product prices. And by your local Chevy dealers. Last of the 6th inning. That youngster's enjoying some ice cream at the ballpark tonight. She also earlier was enjoying the Fanatic floating around near her seat. I saw her dad say to her, "Do you want to go say hi?" And she emphatically said no. But she was smiling. Chase Utley leads it off. And Chase is 0 for 2. He's flied to center. He's also flied to left. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Two and 1 the count. Chase has scuffled somewhat over the last month or so.
Yeah.
And he's trying to get his swing down. Second in the league in runs scored with 112. On base percentage is .401. It's been high above the 400 mark for most of the year. But he's 0 for 9 on this homestand. Or excuse me, 0 for 11 now on this homestand. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Now, sometimes Chase doesn't get ready in time, and it almost looks like the pitchers are quick pitching it. When guys aren't hitting the ball the way they're capable of hitting it, a lot of times, if you're not pulling off of it, means that you're not loading up, meaning you're not getting back to go through the ball. You're getting back late. When you get back late, you're going to rush everything, and you know, that hitting is just a thin line from hitting the ball out, hitting the ball on the line, or being able to hit it on the screws. You got to have good mechanics. It's almost like golf, being able to repeat your swing.
Well, you used to have that little twist, the pop of the bat up and down off your shoulder, a little twist. I mean, when would you get back waiting for the pitch?
Well, when he showed you his backside, you're showing him his. So once he's winding up and he gets ready to go in the turn, you should be in your turn, making sure you're looking at the location of where he's throwing and following his arm. Pete Rose used to follow the ball all the way back to the catcher and look back so he would know exactly where the ball was. That's why he's able to get all those hits that he ended up getting. Not by luck.
3-2 to Chase. And he shoots that one foul toward the third base side.
Now, these guys are really such good athletes that sometimes when they're not in the right mechanics, they're still going to get hits because they are good athletes. But the consistency, and Chase is one of those guys that's been consistent, well, for sure, since we've been here.
And he pops it up right side. And Dan Uglo takes care of the first out. So one away. Well, tonight here at the ballpark, it's the Mid-Atlantic Dairy Association Dairy Night. And in honor of that, the Fanatic was milking a cow. And that was an inning or so ago. And Fanatic was able to milk a lot. Ooh. First some white milk and then some chocolate milk. And the cow does a little dancing as well.
Oh, gosh.
Tonight's Dairy Night is hosted by the Mid-Atlantic Dairy Association and the Pennsylvania Dairy Promotion Program. As Ryan Howard scalds one to right for a base hit, or is it? Well, Nick Johnson didn't get to the first base bag. We've seen Jason Worth try to do that this year. Brett Carroll thought maybe he could sneak a throw in behind Ryan. Well, that's his second hit of the night.
That would just be so unfair. I mean, they already play him to pull as you take a look at this. And you can look, Johnson, if he's on the bag, that's going to be a close play. He just wasn't on the bag. Sure, Ryan Howard not liking that, having to run even harder after a clean base hit into right field.
Well, one away, runner on first. I mentioned that tonight is the Mid-Atlantic Dairy Association Dairy Night. Fans who purchase milk at the concession stands near sections 106 and 128 here at the ballpark and recycle the milk bottles at the kiosks located inside the first base and third base plazas receive a free backpack tonight. And the event is part of the I Pitch for Dairy program, which is supported by Cole Hamels and designed to motivate children to drink at least 3 servings of milk, have some cheese or yogurt each day. I Pitch for Dairy offers the opportunity for a school or classroom to win a visit from Cole and the Philly Fanatic at some point this year. For more information, you can log on to Phillies.com. Cole's doing some real good work in the community, and that's why he is the Phillies recipient of the Roberto Clemente Award.
Yeah, both him and his wife do a lot of good cheering.
Yep.
But again, we talked about that. Most of these guys, they do give back to the community, and I think that's another reason why they have so many fans. I mean, all the guys, and they support each other with their different endeavors.
2-2 the count to Jason Worth with a runner on first. Jason has struck out tonight. He's also flied to right.
Jason needs 3 more RBIs for that coveted 100 RBIs. You know, if you don't get it, you'll start to look back at all the runners that you left on third base or in scoring position. And I think he'd be the first to say, and it isn't over with yet, that he should have 100 ribbies for this year. But it doesn't take away from the year that he's had, which has been a good one.
It's been a very good one, and thinking about where he's batted in this lineup this year, just talking to Jason about that today. He's got Ryan Howard hitting most times in front of him or 2 spots in front of him.
Yeah.
He's batting 6th, so he usually cleans everybody off the base paths.
Yeah, that's true.
Broke his bat, floated one over the mound. Bonifacio to second for one, and that's all they'll get. So the putout goes 6-4 at second base, and there are 2 away. And with that, Ben Francisco stands in. Boy, the White Sox are really thumping the Tigers. It's 8-0 now in the bottom of the 6th inning. Minnesota is shutting out Kansas City. Edwin Jackson for Detroit has given up 8 runs. Twins are not only up 5-0, but they've got the bases loaded and nobody out. Kansas City's already gone to its bullpen. That race could be down to 1 game going into tomorrow. Francisco hits it foul.
Well, you know now with Kansas City, though, and playing in Minnesota, I'm sure they have a full house in Minnesota. Going to give them all they have. And the White Sox going to Detroit. With Ozzie, their manager, you know Guillen is going to want to beat Detroit 3 straight over there. And actually probably have the pitching staff set up the way that he would want it to.
I'm not sure where that ball hit Jason Worth, but he was a little wobbly as he was going back to the first base bag.
And just check it out now and see. Oh, hits him right on the numbers. Doesn't want him. That doesn't make you want to get up and run hard.
Nope.
Makes you want to almost lay right where he is.
Francisco sends it in the air, straightaway center field. Maben to the warning track, has just enough room to put it away. Francisco gave it a ride, but it's the final out here in the 6th inning. We've completed 6, on to the 7th, with the Marlins leading at 4-2. Top of the 7th inning, the Phillies trail at 4-2. Joe Blanton has settled in, and he's retired the last 7 batters that he has faced until there. Cameron Maben hits one past Jason Worth for a leadoff base hit. He's going to stop at second, and he has his 2nd double of the night. Now Joe Blanton trying to keep this at a 2-run ball game, and here comes Charlie Manuel, and it may not be Joe that's going to keep it at a 2-run ball game.
Well, as we have a pitching change coming up, let's check out that Verizon Wireless game summary. All the scoring coming in. He's coming early in this one. Phillies on a 2-run home run by Ryan Howard, 2-run single by Jorge Cantu in the first inning. Then Coghlan Maben had RBI doubles in the second. That's been it so far, as Joe Blanton willed the party after 6+.
So Joe lasts into the 7th inning, allows a leadoff double here in the top of the 7th inning. He did a nice job settling in after allowing the 4 runs of the first 2 innings. Scott Ayers' night is just beginning when we come back. The 9th inning on the 30th of September. This is his 41st game. He's 2-1 with a 1.57 ERA. He's only allowed 1 hit this year in 34 at bats with a runner in scoring position, and he is pitching here with a runner at second and Nick Johnson, the batter. Johnson is 1 for 2. He grounded out in the first, walked in the second, and singled in the fourth.
They could be experimenting, doing some things here. You know, if they could get him out, walk Cantu, then you have another left-handed hitter, just to see if Eric can get these left-handed hitters out, because that's his role. Problem with Nick Johnson, try to get Nick Johnson out, even though he's not hitting, he won't chase. Well, maybe he is a little bit. See, numbers not good against here. Maybe he has been when you know, you see that he's in a slump, but every time we see him play, he does not swing at non-strikes.
Well, he lays off, and it's 3-0.
Yeah, there you go. You know, they're close, but he doesn't swing. Now they give a guy like him a 3-0 green light once in a while.
There's Jorge Cantu waiting on deck. Last 32 appearances for Air. He's only allowed runs in 2 of those appearances. When he's healthy, he's been really good for the Phils.
See, you just made a great qualifier there, because Scott Air has done a tremendous job, but he hasn't pitched. You know, look what he's done, as you mentioned, 1 for 34, but all that's a long time ago, because he's been on the shelf. Not a long time ago, but it's weeks ago, because he's been on the shelf. And he's a very valuable guy when he is healthy, and they're hoping he's healthy.
That one is line foul, so it's 3-2 to Johnson.
Because Scott is a veteran guy that things aren't going to bother him much out there.
Hey, these lucky fans are tonight's Citizens 7. They will each receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. To find a branch near you, visit citizensbank.com. Opposite way, past Cairo into left field. Around third and being held there is Cameron Maben. And now runners on first and third with nobody out. Phillies got a break because Maben held up a little bit on that ball towards shortstop just in case Cairo had gotten to it.
Yeah, he has to make sure it goes through. That's all you do when you're at second base and there's nobody out. Make sure the ball goes through, and he does. And if there's 2 outs, well, he's been running anyway on contact. But even 1 out, maybe Bo Porter thinks about scoring him. But with nobody out, no chance. You don't want to do that with Cantu coming up.
Cantu tonight is 1 for 3. He's got 2 RBIs. 98 on the season. And the count, no balls and 1 strike.
Phillies will give up a run here for 2 outs. Infield double play depth.
Ruiz throws behind Maben, who gets back. The count 2-1 now to Cantu. Seen a lot of that recently. Guys floating off that third base bag getting picked. Saw it happen in the Phillies National Series here. Saw it happen in the Marlins Braves series. 3-1.
Big one was that night with Pedro Martinez pitching, and the ball bouncing away from Carlos Ruiz in that Mets game.
Daniel Murphy caught a third. John Baker waiting on deck for the Marlins. And that's ball 4, so the bases are going to be loaded. Mentioned that Charlie has some decisions to make about his bullpen, and part of that is the left-handers, because Jack Taster's trying to work his way back into being an effective left-hander. There's Clay Condrey, a righty, loosening up. Looks like J.C. Romero is done.
Yeah.
So the lefties are going to play an important role no matter who the Phillies face come the postseason.
Well, he's sitting down there tonight trying to think about his bullpen, and he's just scratching guys off that aren't going to be available.
You think about the Rockies, the matchups against lefties, Hop and Todd Helton, guys like that. As Baker takes one for a ball, it's 1-0. You think about the Dodgers and Andre Ethier, and guys like that in a tough spot where you're going to need a left-hander. Rafael Furcal, if you want him to bat righty instead of left-handed, depending on what the scenario is. So you'd probably like to keep 2.
Oh yeah. Well, that's always the ideal situation nowadays in bullpens, to have 2 left-handers. That's why they were good last year with Scott Aaron Romero.
1-2 the count to Baker with the bases loaded. Swing and a miss, and Baker's down on strikes. There's one away. So Baker's 0 for 4. We were talking about that Phillies bullpen. Here are the pitchers that are in that pen. Now, Chan-Ho Park is injured, and you can cross him off. Yep. J.C. Romero, you can cross him off as well. And everybody else that's in there, a lot of these guys have done a really good job. You're not sure about Tashner and how healthy he is as the postseason is upon us as well. So we'll see. Kind of a question mark. Clay Condrey, though, he's pitched himself back into shape, and he's going to pitch himself into this ball game as Scott Air will walk off with the bases loaded. Two during the Phillies home games. The store is open Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. and it features a variety of Phillies apparel, caps, novelties, DVDs, and everything Fanatic. Make the Majestic Clubhouse store your official home for Phillies merchandise. There's so many other things that you can do here at this ballpark. Not only go to the Majestic Clubhouse store, but also the Build-A-Bear shop. You can build your own Fanatic. Also build your own teddy bear and put some Phillies garb on that teddy bear. Clay Condrey into his 44th game. He's 6-2, a 3.07 earned run average. And he is coming into a bases loaded pickle. One out. Phillies trail at 4-2, and Dan Uggla is the batter. And Uggla takes one way inside. It's 1 ball and no strikes.
And they're hoping Condrey can throw a double play ball here because his best pitch is a sinker. And he is 1 for 9 lifetime off Condrey.
Tries to check, and it's a strike anyway. 1-1.
Only a couple breaking balls.
Well, he's got good numbers with the bases loaded, and I guess you would expect that for a guy who's put up in a lot of power spots. 3 straight years, 30 home runs or more. Hits one the opposite way. It's going to sneak into right field, a base hit. Maben's going to score. Johnson will hold up at third. And it's now a 5-2 game. So an RBI for Uggla, his 88th of the year.
That's a big difference in Dan Uggla this year. I think I ever saw him hit a ball the other way. He just used to open up and pull or swing and miss. And he had a nice swing at that. Watch how under control he is. He got a slider and he waited on it. And he's a very different offensive player now than what we're used to for his first couple years in the league.
So you can close the line on Joe. Joe Blanton goes 6+ innings, and he's charged with 5 runs tonight as Brett Carroll takes one for a strike. There's Joe. Scott Air. His line is not complete just yet. Good pitch on the outside corner. Tall, strike 3. Now that's the second out. A little bit of a slider snuck on the outside part of the plate.
Yeah, trying to get a strikeout here or a double play, and he threw a breaking ball there. It was a perfect pitch.
Phillies can get, or if Condrey can get out of this, allowing just that 1 run, that'd be huge. Keep this at just a 3-run deficit. Emilio Bonifacio is 2 for 3 tonight. And he takes a breaking ball for a strike. On the hands, caught by Chase Utley. Well, Chase is making a habit of that, leaping high in the air and pulling it out of the air, and he does so to record the final out here in the 7th inning. Condrey strands the bases loaded. Marlins score 1. It's 5-2 Fish. In the same inning. Wheels?
I have no idea.
Come on, you have to take a guess.
I'm going to take a guess because of the way he used to kill the Phillies, Miguel Cabrera.
Miguel Cabrera, Wheels, would be incorrect. Yeah, and the streak is officially over, but it was a good run. The answer is Gary Sheffield, 1997.
Was that at the Vet?
It was at the Vet, I believe.
Wow.
Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. And thanks for playing Dodge Stump the Fans. Brian Sanchez is the new pitcher for the Marlins, as he will take over here in the bottom of the 7th inning. The former Philly, in his 46th game, he's 4-2 with a 2.45 ERA. And, you know, for the most part, he's done a pretty good job for the Marlins this year. Facing Greg Dobbs in the bottom of this order.
Yeah, he threw a 3-run home run to Matt Diaz the other night to tie that game in Atlanta. Then the Marlins came back and won the game, which was huge for the Phillies. He throws a lot of changeups. He threw a lot of splits when he was with the Phillies.
Dobbs the other way. Coughlin makes the running grab. Coughlin has retired Dobbs twice tonight.
That was a splitter. And that was a pitch that Brian Sanchez had here. He just never had much success with the Phillies, but he certainly had a good year with Florida this year.
You know, we've seen this the last few years with some of the Marlins bullpen guys like Joe Nelson. You know, a guy that wasn't really established anywhere else, but became an established pitcher for Freddie Gonzalez and the Marlins.
Well, that's what happens with a lot of relief pitchers. They'll have a year. They'll kind of come out of nowhere and have a year, and then it's difficult for them to back that up. Brian Sanchez is one of the good guys. So it's nice to see him have some success, and you hope he continues to have it.
The other guy too that the Marlins have used or did use that kind of established himself was Justin Miller. 1-1 the count to Carlos, who has been on base twice tonight. Reynolds Pinto, he's homegrown.
Oh, he's in every game.
I was going to say he's homegrown since he's come over from the Cubs.
Yeah, and he's in every time the Phillies see the Marlins, he gets into the game because of their left-handed hitters.
Paul Bacco has done a lot of catching the last couple of weeks while Carlos has been nursing that sore wrist, and Paul has done a very good job filling in. He's gotten his swing down a little bit too. That's why you're bringing gloves to the game, and that looks like it's a very worn glove.
Yeah, that guy may have played with that.
That's the old Wilson A2000.
That could be like 30-year-old glove right there. 20 years old. Looks like it had a lot of oil on it.
Yep.
They used to call that neat's foot oil. That's the kind of oil used on a glove to loosen it up. Put a ball in it overnight. Tie something around it, put some oil. Start breaking it in that way.
I remember the first baseman's mitt that I bought when I was in 8th grade, which I still have and used up in into college and stuff like that. I took it and put it in a bucket of oil. It was a natural colored glove, kind of like the one that Brian Sanchez has out there. And I dumped it in a bucket of oil and just let it sit there to soften it up, and it basically turned it to that color.
Yeah. And it was nice and soft. Huh?
Oh yeah.
Guys have all different ways of breaking in gloves.
And Carlos is down on strikes, and that's the second out. That was the slider by Sanchez. They went 2 away. It'll bring Andy Tracy up as a pinch hitter. Andy Tracy has had some pinch hits for the Phils, including one last night. He's 3 for 6 since being called up from Lehigh Valley.
He'll be doing the game tomorrow on Fox. He'll be talking to a pretty good first baseman, huh?
A real good first baseman.
He could talk to you about breaking in first base gloves. Mark Grace.
And not only a good defensive, but also a heck of an offensive player too.
He's just a good player, period.
No batting gloves.
No batting gloves. And the guy used the whole field. He and Rafael Palmeiro came up together. Vuk had them in the instructional league one year when they were both young Cubs.
Tracy lofts one to straightaway center, and he's got his 4th pinch hit for the Phillies. Two-out single. Well, again, the Phillies are one big inning from getting right back into this and overtaking the Marlins. It's only a 3-run deficit here in the bottom of the 7th. Kind of felt that way last night against the Astros, and then it took till the 9th inning when the Phillies finally got things rolling.
Well, it's one thing to tell everybody how important this is. Another thing to try and go out and win a major league game. Games can be very, very difficult to win because those other guys out there aren't just going to roll over and say, hey, well, we'd really love for you guys to have the home field advantage. It doesn't work that way. They're very competitive, and you have to get after it, and so far they're not.
Shane takes a strike. It's 0-1. The Cardinals are winning tonight. They're defeating the Brewers 5-0. That game's in the bottom of the 4th inning. If the Cardinals win tonight, let's say the Phillies wind up losing tonight, well, then they're tied with records of 92 and 68. Then you have the Dodgers, who are scheduled to play Colorado in a little while. They have 93 wins.
Phillies have been very fortunate because the Cardinals went into a super funk. They were pretty far ahead of them and didn't look like they had any chance to catch them, and they went ahead of them. But now they're home playing a team that is just not playing real well right now. Milwaukee at the end of the season, they have an excellent chance to sweep that series, especially with the pitching the way that Milwaukee has. They get Bush tomorrow, who's been struggling, Looper tonight. So the Phillies have to win. And if they finish in a tie with Milwaukee or with St. Louis, they win because they have the tiebreaker.
Correct.
In head-to-head. So they know that.
Yeah, there's no there's no worry about the flip of the coin and stuff like that this year. As Victorino hits it to straightaway center. Plenty of room for Cameron Maybin. And the inning comes to a close. So the Phillies strand one after the 2-out single by Andy Tracy. We have played 7 here in Philadelphia. Marlins lead it 5-2. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Sergio Escalona will pitch here in the top of the 8th inning. His 13th game in the big leagues.
Used to have those celebrity cow milking contests.
Oh, yeah.
The vet, remember those?
Yep.
Can't imagine.
Oh, did you ever get chocolate milk out of it?
No.
Fanatic got chocolate milk tonight.
Well, Fanatic is clever.
Were you ever part of that, Wills?
No.
I can't say that we ever did anything like that in the minor leagues.
No, I think Whitey and Harry did it one day.
Oh, did they really?
Well, Whitey's an old farm boy. Whitey was an old farm boy, and he said, boys, I'll win that contest. I don't think he did.
Wes Helms is going to pinch hit for the Marlins here in the top of the 8th, former Philly. And he takes one low. Wes had a good year. He's hitting .270. Got 3 home runs and 31 runs batted in. He's been used as a third baseman against lefties. Even played a little first base, but also primarily as a pinch hitter, and he's going to get a pinch hit right there. So a leadoff single for Helms here in the top of the 8th.
It's another bullpen audition.
Chris Coughlin is 1 for 3. He has walked and doubled. He's driven in a run. He's scored twice. He's grounded out to second base twice, too. And he lines one to straightaway center. And one away. Back to first goes Wes Helms. It really does seem, though, that everybody that comes out of the pen is in there to maybe prove a point or to show something. And it's not out of the realm of possibility that, everybody that we see come out of the pen, from Sergio Escalona to Tyler Walker to Kyle Kendrick, all these guys are kind of auditioning.
Sure.
Can you get one lefty out in the 8th inning in a 1-run game?
Seems strange that you would be talking this way for a 92-win team going into postseason play, but it's a fact. And Charlie and the staff are trying to figure it out right now.
Yeah, last year the Phillies had just a few injuries to the pen. A line drive base hit for Maben, and Maben has a 4-hit night.
Well, they have to feel pretty good right now about Coghlan and Maben going into next year. Now, sometimes you throw away what you see in September. But these guys have been playing competition in September, and that's a big difference as opposed to just phoning it in for a team. So they're learning a lot about him. Coghlan's been good anyway, and they're learning something more about Maben. Maybe that year at AAA helped him.
Nick Johnson tonight has 2 hits. He's walked. He's grounded to second.
Well, the right-handed hitters have had real good swings at him. Here's where they want to see what he can do with a left-handed hitter. Tries a breaking ball there and threw it over for a strike to Nick Johnson.
In the dirt, and squared away from Ruiz. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. Fastball in, and it's 1-2. Escalona was a combined 2-3 in the minor leagues. His ERA was at 3.13. He pitched in 47 games. He was on kind of a shuttle between the Phillies and the minor leagues a few different times this year. He had 14 saves between those 2 levels. He tried to sneak a breaking ball on the outside corner.
That was a pretty good slider with 2 strikes, and a lot of hitters will chase that, but not Nick Johnson. When you throw that to a left-handed hitter, that has a chance to be an out. That Carlos Ruiz wants to call another one, because then you go to 3-2, and that's probably going to be a fastball count with Cantu on deck and nobody up in the bullpen.
Well, there was a fastball up in the strike zone, so 3-2 now the count. Got Helms on second base, Maben on first base.
This could be one of the few times you start runners with a left-handed hitter up, because he doesn't swing and miss that much, and he grounds into double plays. I say with a left-handed hitter because you got a clear shot to throw to third,
and not a quick runner off second. They don't go, and the pitch hits him, and the bases are now loaded.
Did throw a breaking ball there too, a 3-2 breaking ball. Looked like a slower one too.
Looks like it slipped right out of his hand. So now the bases are loaded for the second straight inning.
It's like a curveball. It wasn't the slider. That's a curveball.
Cantu this evening is 1 for 3. He walked his last time up. And he starts him off with a fastball up and in. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Cantu's trying to reach 100 RBIs for the second time in his career. He did it with the Tampa Bay Devil Rays a few seasons ago. And he lines one to center field. Victorino makes the grab. Tagging from third is Helms. The throw scoots over the mound, and Helms comes in standing. There'll be a sac fly for Cantu. It's his 3rd RBI tonight. And it's 6-2 Florida. So Cantu now with 99 runs batted in.
Victorino really had to reach in there again, it looked like, and he didn't get a whole lot on that throw. You know, I think that line drive fooled him. It was kind of knuckling maybe or sinking, and he really couldn't get behind it the way outfielders like to do and then be able to make a strong throw.
Oh, with 2 outs, 2 runners on, it's a 4-run lead for Florida. John Baker hitless in 4 at-bats. Hits one the opposite way. A little dunker. Francisco's coming on. He can't get it. On 1 hop, Maben heading home. Here's the throw to the plate on 1 hop, and he slides in safely. It's an RBI for Baker. And as the throw comes in, Johnson goes to third. And up to second goes Baker. It's now 7-2 Marlins. And they scored a single for Baker, and he goes to second base on that throw.
Breaks his bat right off the end of the bat. With 2 outs, everybody's running. Francisco, that took him off to the side a little bit. Still made a pretty good throw here,
Yeah,
a 1 hopper, but no chance to get him at the plate. And maybe could really run.
Ugla takes one low, 1 ball and no strikes. Ugla's the 7th man to come to bat in this inning for the Marlins. Good change up. They will get underway in about a half hour in Los Angeles. Randy Wolf will make the start tonight for the Dodgers. Ubaldo Jimenez will start for the Rockies. Well, that's a pretty good pitching matchup on paper.
Wolf right now has been their best pitcher.
Hey, you figure he'll pitch tonight, and he will be the game 1 starter for Los Angeles on Wednesday.
Yep, that's where they're going to line it up.
And Jimenez will start, you would think, for Colorado. 2-2 the count to Ugla. And it's outside 3-2. He just doesn't have control right now of that breaking pitch. It's slipping right out of his hand. Hits it hard toward third. Staying down on it is Greg Dobbs, and the inning is over. But the Marlins tack on a couple more here at the top of the 8th. They strand 2. We go to the bottom of the 8th. The Phillies down 7-2. car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 800-947-AUTO. By Dodge, live strong, live bold, live now. Dodge, grab life. And by McDonald's, introducing new Angus burgers made with juicy 100% Angus beef, available with premium toppings in 3 varieties for just $3.99. McDonald's, I'm loving it. Last of the 8th inning. And the rally towels are out. They're trying to get something going here offensively. Wes Helms will stay in the game. He's over at third base for the Marlins. Moving from third to first is Jorge Cantu. And he'll take over there for Nick Johnson. And taking over for Johnson in the batting order is Reniel Pinto. His 72nd game. He's 4-1, a 3.34 earned run average. So he'll bat third for the Marlins. Boy, another sold-out crowd tonight. Not many have left, despite the fact the Phillies trail at 7-2. Last night, the Phillies put a late charge together, and the fans here are hoping that they could put together another late charge. Miguel Cairo starts it off, and he takes one for a strike. Cairo tonight is 1 for 3, singled and scored his first time up. Tonight marks the 26th game for Reniel Pinto. As Cairo hits it toward the right of the mound, 1 away. And with 1 out, here's Chase Utley. Reniel Pinto has struggled against Utley, but has fared well against Ryan Howard, who's on deck. And he is the Marlins version, albeit a little larger, to the Mets' Pedro Feliciano. And you can see in this division the teams picking up left-handers, really because of the Phillies lineup. You know, maybe some of the other teams too, but the Phillies lineup. You got Pinto for the Marlins, Feliciano for the Mets. You had Joe Beimel at one point for the Nationals, and you have Mike Gonzalez for the Braves, and O'Flaherty, and you know, guys like that. Boone Logan.
Yeah, they had 3 of them most of the year, did the Braves.
And that's the way it is, though, now, is that teams are building to try to knock off the Phillies and the meat of their lineup. Down and away, 2-1. Utley toward left center field. Cameron Maven ventures it to the alleyway and puts it away for the 2nd out. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the White Sox defeated the Tigers 8-0 behind Jake Peavy. He was really good. He allowed 2 hits in his outing tonight. Meanwhile, in the 5th inning, Minnesota is just pounding the Royals. It's 10-0. So it looks like Minnesota is going to be within a game with 2 to play.
We said there weren't any races. Got 1 there, and you still have 1 in the West in the National League.
Ryan Howard with 2 outs stands in, and he takes a slider for a strike. Ryan has provided the only pop for the Phils tonight.
Yeah, he tied the game in the 1st inning, put some real life into the ballpark. Hopefully put some life into the club, but didn't work that way.
And he slaps one the opposite way. And that's his 3rd hit of the evening. And it's got to be at least his 5th hit this, since the 1st of September, the opposite way.
Well, Pinto throws all those sliders. Ryan Howard strikes out against Pinto a lot. And it was almost like he took a different approach there. Saying, if he throws me a slider, I'm just going to try and go the other way and make contact. What good's a home run right now? What does that do? So right now, here he goes. There's that slider that he swings and misses at all the time. And he just drops the head on and got a base hit. It's a nice piece of hitting there by Ryan Howard.
Well, Milt Thompson probably liked what he saw. Doesn't always want the big man to give himself up that way, but with nobody out or nobody on and 2 outs, gets a base runners.
You're down by 7-2. The odds are if you're trying to hit a home run and swing at that pitch, you will swing and miss at it.
To the count to Jason Worth. Not holding Ryan on at first base. Opposite way, little floater down the right field line, and that's going to be a diving grab by Brett Carroll for the final out. I didn't think he was going to get there, but it hung up long enough for him to get to the spot and then leave his feet. The Phillies leave one aboard here in the 8th inning. Some pretty good defense by Brett Carroll and the Florida Marlins to finish up this 8th inning. We go to the 9th with the Marlins leading at 7-2. Tonight on Sports Night, Amy Fadul is live from the ballpark with game reaction. Steve Coates reports from the Flyers season opener in Carolina. And Derek Gunn goes one-on-one with Dan Marino to discuss everything Eagles. Get all the news Philly fans need to know tonight at 10 after Phillies postgame live only on Comcast Sportsnet. Flyers off to a very good start in their season. The NHL season began tonight for Philadelphia. They won it 2-0 over the Carolina Hurricanes. That Ovechkin guy from the Washington Capitals had a pretty good start in his opener. He had 4 points. How about that?
That's a good start.
Yeah, he's a heck of a player. Here's Brett Carroll to start the top of the 9th inning. Bottom third of the order for the Marlins. Carroll's 0 for 4, and he hits one toward third. So Chad Durbin, with his throw by Greg Dobbs, retires the first batter he faces in this inning. Well, the good news for Dobbs is that he's played third base tonight and has not had any problems with that calf. I mean, he's worked hard with Dong Lin, who's the Phillies strength and conditioning coordinator, to get that leg closer to 100%. He's there tonight for Pedro Feliz. He'll probably be out there tomorrow. And we see Greg before the Phillies take batting practice each day. He's out there running in the outfield to test that calf, which has bothered him for most of this year. In fact, he said it's bothered him since spring training. And that's a painful injury when it's just nagging. 1-1 the count to Emilio Bonifacio, who has a couple hits tonight. Opposite way down the left field line. Francisco on the run, a long way to go. And it drops in front and into the seats. That guy got to that ball quick.
Saw a chance.
He said,
"I'm a hero.
I'm going to make somebody really happy tonight."
Good job. There you go. Now the fielders can't get there, but look at this guy.
Oh, he broke right away.
He read that one well.
He sure did.
He knew it was going to bounce the opposite direction, didn't he?
There's Cairo to make that grab for the second out. 2 away.
Guy played the game. You could tell.
Instincts.
There's instincts in foul balls too, Tom. You can't be a good foul ball retriever without instincts.
Did you ever catch a foul ball when you're a fan?
No. Well, I went to so many games too. Back in those days, I would have tried. Now I just want to get out of the way. But we don't get them up here anyway. The vet, boy, used to get peppered in the vet.
Still remember that foul ball in spring training this year at Bright House Field.
No.
Where Ryan Howard hit one into the press box and went right past the front row all the way to the back.
I heard it.
Yeah.
It went right past Kevin Gregg and Greg Castriato, and I was on the other side of the window, and there was no time to move.
Nobody had their glove like these fans in the front rows.
And it made a hole in the back of the wall in the press box.
Yep.
And Ryan came up and signed it.
0-2 the count to Helms. That's right where Carlos wanted it, a fastball up.
We're yelling down to Ryan Howard. But the pitcher, it was Jackson, Edwin Jackson, because he lived in Detroit. We're saying throw a breaking ball so he'll pull one.
He was laughing too, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, he was a little late. It was early in spring training. His swing wasn't there. Oh, he thought it was funny. We were waving, towels out of the press box at him.
And a swing and a miss, and Helms is down on strikes. It's a 1-2-3 ninth inning for Chad Durbin. Well, we go to the bottom of the ninth inning. Phillies trail it by 5. One last chance. To finish off this 9th inning for the Fish. Calero in his 66th game. He's 2-2. A 1.86 ERA. 67 strikeouts so far this season. He's had himself a good year. And yes, the Philly faithful who are still here at the ballpark trying to get something going. They got those rally towels tonight when they came through the gates, and they're figuring, you know what, let's use those rally towels. And those rally caps as well. Last night at this point, more than half of the fans had left the building, but they were still pretty loud. There's a lot more that are lingering tonight. Friday night in South Philadelphia. No school tomorrow. He could stay out as late as he wants. So Ben Francisco leads it off for the Phillies here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Rick Vandenherk started tonight. He's going to get the win if Calero can hold on. Joe Blanton, meanwhile, started for the Phillies. Allowed 5 runs over 6+ innings. And it's 0-2 to Francisco.
Face Kiko Calero, you're not going to see many fastballs. Doesn't matter the score. He will throw sliders. There's another one. He throws all different kinds of breaking ball to from different arm angles and not many fastballs. And he's very successful.
Off the end of the bat, a number toward first. And Cantu retires Francisco for out number 1. So the Phillies down to their final 2 outs. And that was that slider that Wheels was talking about.
He throws a fastball, you kind of go, huh?
Dobbs is 0 for 3. And it's hit foul over the third base dugout. 1-2 the count.
I think that was a fastball.
I think it was 88 miles an hour.
He did throw one.
It's lefty.
Yeah, but he's still throwing sliders to him.
Carlos waiting on deck. And there is a slider.
Oh yeah.
Swung on and missed. Dobbs in the second out. Phillies now down to their final out here in the 9th inning.
Here it is. This is kind of a spinning, hanging slider there, but it had some late movement, it looked like, and it came in on Dobbs, and he swung and missed at it. Watching him pitch a lot on TV and against the Phillies too, it seems like he has different sliders that he throws, different speeds. It's not just one breaking ball. They say like that one's a little bit harder.
One ball, one strike the count to Ruiz. And he's out in front, so it's 1-2. And it's 3-2 now to Carlos. Carlos said a good night. He's doubled, he walked. He did strike out his last time up. The fact that he's able to swing and not have any pain, that's a good sign as we head to the rest of this weekend and get ready for the postseason. And he pops it up, straight up to the left of the mound. Wes Helms is under it, and the ball game is over. The Phillies are retired in order here at the bottom of the 9th inning, and the Marlins have taken game 1 of this 3-game series. And at least for the moment, the Phillies are closer to the St. Louis Cardinals in the race for the best record than they are to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Our Chevrolet Player of